Okay. There we go. Ding dong, nice.
Yo.
Oh, hey, what's going on? Are you busy?
No. I'm not doing much. What you up to?
I just got on my computer after a long day of crocheting, and I figured I'd see what you're up to.
Nice. Are you ready to talk about Ashes even more?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. I haven't talked about it
So,
enough.
you are in the middle of a hot topic.
Oh, like
Yes, sir.
like a sexy hot topic, like
Y-
or like
It
just a
is.
okay,
It's not a hot take. It's just something that I didn't really think about.
okay,
So, I'm gonna pull it up on my stream for those of you guys that just rated in, and for else, of course. Here, let's bring it up, chat. Oh, I still got the other image open. Perfect. So, no, I don't. Here, let me bring it back up, chat. What was the original image? And I got it in our chat if you want to bring it up.
sure.
But this is the one from Ren. So first he said, and you guys ignore my ignore my name in Narc's Discord. I think it's hilarious.
Oh, this
Um,
one, yeah.
yeah. I thought this was a fun one. Um, so he says, what do you think about looted caravan spoils going into the normal inventory instead of material? I think these should take limited material storage and drop on death. It's only fair. So if you guys don't recall about the Tetris inventory system, that's your material bag. When Steven looted, and this, like I said, this could be something yeah, Galwood, yeah, that's what I was about to say. Galwood says, I assume this was a bug, to be honest. So I think this is something, it could be not intended, but it looks intended. I don't know. But let's hope that it is a bug. But the stolen commodities, the stolen materials that you crack open on the spot, not having to go in your materials bag is a bad play to me. It should take up space, um, and take up a lot of space and be subject to loss if you get killed. Um, that's my take on it. I completely agree. But another topic that comes to hand with this, we were talking about what was it? How the material bag should basically what was it? I want to make sure I say it right again. Uh, I'm drawing a blank here. What was it, chat?
Guys,
I
you
literally
got
just
to
spaced
help him
out.
out here. You hear him drowning. He's
I
drowning right
lost
now.
I lost my own take. But basically, oh yeah, that's what it was. I'm back. Brain's back activated.
Okay, let's
So
hear it.
I think, and you know how everyone's wanting the attackers to have more risk or whatever. I agree with this. I agree with it in this sense that material that falls on the ground, you know how you crack open the case, and Steven did say, or whoever it was on stream did say that you're gonna get less of that than if you hauled it with the caravan, right?
Yep.
That's fine. I just hope that they are really harsh with it. So let's say right now you get only half of the stuff if you loot it on the spot, or even if it's 20%. I think it should be like minimal, like 5 or 10% if you decide to loot it on the spot. And here's why I say that. I want to discourage, I want to incentivize those attackers because everyone has this issue with attackers not having risk with the caravans. I think a fair compromise would be to incentivize people, which I think that's what Intrepid is going for, to be fair.
Sure.
They need to further incentivize people to do their own caravan. And I think that would make these people that are really upset about the current system feel a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
That if that you get subject to the same system. So if I rob Elsa's caravan, maybe it'll make him feel better that I'm gonna have to make my own caravan to get that back to town, because I would be subjecting myself to that same risk, that same PvP system, and I think that's something that everyone can compromise for.
Yeah.
And I think if that's the case, then a lot more people will be like, okay, that's fair. And yes, there's going to be some players that will be fine with just looting on the spot. They don't want to subject themselves to the risk. They want to go on about their day, et cetera, et cetera. But I think you need to make it not worthwhile for those people that are willing to loot on the spot. That's my take. I know we haven't had our hands on the game, but I mean, I want it minimal. I want it like 5 or 10%. I want it to almost not be worth your time to crack open those crates on the spot. What do you guys think?
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about this last night. I went on the Wikipedia last night because I was trying to see if they had a size comparison chart, because another way you can transport resources is through the animal husbandry system. So if you use a mule, right? And they say the mule carries the same amount as a small crate. And then they say that the caravan carries they carry medium and large crates, the total amount to be determined in Alpha 2. And so I was looking at it and I was like, okay. And I think it's already kind of set up that way. Like if you come and you try to just fill your pockets, you're almost going to take nothing. Like the caravan, with the way the caravan is set up, it seems like it's almost going to take a week or weeks worth of effort from a few people in order to fill it. And so if you come in with your bags to try and walk away with stuff, well, the people that got wiped, they're going to walk away back with, like, if you can only take away so much, they're just going to repack up, get the caravan and get going again. Because you're not gonna have taken that much. And even with a mule, it's one small crate. And I think when they did the caravan stream, I think it was like 10 medium-sized crates that dropped. And so I don't know what the difference is. I have no idea. And that was the kind of number I was trying to figure out. But yeah, I think that's actually how it's gonna be. Like if you actually want to get meaningful amounts of resources, you're gonna have to pack a caravan. And that was I think that's part of the conversation that a lot of people are missing is you know, the attackers become the defenders. And so if people are upset about defenders carrying all this risk, well, if the attackers win, that's who they are. They're now the defenders of the system. And so I think that's definitely part of it that people aren't looking at. And obviously, like, depending on where you're at, if you sack it right by the node where it departed from, the people that wipe, they're going to go back to their node and be like, hey, 20 people just took our caravan, and then you're gonna have the entire village coming at you with pitchforks. So
I think the more and like we said, they this is their goal. But this reminds me back to one of our previous episodes, and I'm sorry because I don't remember who suggested this, or not really suggested it, but like brought it up, and I know we agreed with it. And this was on the topic of corruption and like how harsh should corruption penalties be. They said something along the lines of, it's better to, when you start testing, to start off with corruption being brutal, like really harsh penalties, and slowly tweak it. Like, okay, that's too harsh. Like, dude killed one guy and he had to go farm for 12 hours of, grinding mobs. That's probably too harsh. Let's, move it up the dial. So maybe he only has to, grind off 4 hours of gameplay, right?
Yes.
It's better to start too harsh and then work your way up. I think with this stolen commodity system that we're discussing, I think it should be the same thing. Like let's start with like 5%, 10%, et cetera, and start to raise it in that direction. Kind of test that in Alpha 2. Catching up with the voices of Vera here. Hatter says, I said this in the TGF stream, but not all nodes will have a black market to sell.
Yes.
Forcing people to take the caravan if you rated a caravan in an area where there are no black markets. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And that's another big deal. And I've said this before, but I really hope that nodes have opportunity costs with these upgrades. I really hope that if you choose to do a black market, it's either expensive or locks you out of a different thing. Like, okay, you got a black market at your node, but now you can't do the extra apartments upgrade. Now you can't do this siege defense upgrade. Now you can't upgrade your guards. Now your caravan range is lower. Little stuff like that, if you get what I'm saying, chat. I just hope there's opportunity costs. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think, and please tell me if I'm wrong. This is just something I'm thinking in my head, like as like attempting to play in a game that doesn't exist yet. But if I put myself as like a player in the game, I almost imagine that anybody that has a black market available, like a back alley tavern where you can sell stolen goods, I feel like that almost puts a target on their back for every neighboring node that doesn't have it. Right? Like, because imagine like you're a neighboring node and like you're communicating and working with your fellow nodes to exchange resources, and you have this one node that's nearby that allows all of your stolen resources to be fenced. Like, hey, we're okay with you bringing their gear over to us, like, yeah, bring it on over. Like I feel like that would paint a target. Like I'd be sitting over, if I was one of the other node members, like seeing that this has a black, like a back alley tavern, I would think about doing something about it. So
it's the bad neighborhood is what it is, it's the bad neighborhood. It's the bad neighborhood in Vera.
Yeah.
The fourth realm says 100 nodes, 10k population equals average of 100 people per node ZOI. People are way too scared of having their caravan attacked. It's a huge map. It's just not going to be too common. In theory, it's not going to be too common. You know what's funny? I don't expect Alpha 2 to launch with like a crazy amount of I don't know. We're going to probably have a couple of biomes, but
sure.
I think maybe in Alpha 2, maybe it'll be, because there's not as much map, there's not as much things to do. Maybe caravan attacks will be more common, but maybe it should be so we can be testing the system and see what needs tweaking. But yeah.
Yep.
Bluey says random joins can just loot everything and run away. Another reason party only groups. Oh, I see your take there. So he's saying like you can't just auto join. Like I think he was saying earlier. I could be wrong. Sorry if I'm wrong, Bluey, but I think it was you earlier. Or someone else was talking about auto joining and how it's bad because you can just see that a caravan's at 60% health and then just run up in there and partake of the loot. He's saying that maybe you and your group. So let's say me and you are just in the middle of nowhere doing our farming. We see some guy running a caravan. It looks pretty full. He doesn't have any guards for some reason. It's literally just him. We attack his caravan.
Absolutely.
We pop it open. Maybe once the caravan's at 40% health, some other random is walking by. He joins us in attacker as well. Boom. We destroy the caravan. The crates are everywhere. Me and you are smart. Like, dude, let's call our buddies. Let's get a caravan going. I'll help you haul this back. I'll protect you. Maybe we can get our buddies to come help us escort this as well. Throw them some gold for helping. But the random that's there is it's like Arctic. Arctic over here says even if it was only 5%, I would still hit and dip just to F with people.
Absolutely.
See, you're the kind of person that's making these guys scared. But what if a random like Arctic is walking by while we're trying to coordinate this, and he's like, "Yeah, you guys can wait on your caravan. I'm just gonna pop these crates open right here and go about my day." Like that's gonna be something. And hey, maybe that makes you want to attack the random. I don't know. But this is the kind of conflicts that we always talk about Steven wants to be in the game.
Yep.
Nerer says, I want it to be roughly 0%. I want the attackers to have to move everything by mule or caravan. So you don't want an option to loot on the spot. That's a hot take. What do you guys think about that?
I think it depends on how much I want to know the disparity between inventory carrying and caravan amount. Because if it's like 1%, if it's like 1% of loot, I don't care. Loot on the spot.
Yeah.
So
at least, I'm with that. Maybe at least make it have to be moved by mule. At least by mule. Which that's something I still wonder if they're going to have in the game, if I had to be honest with you, chat. Yeah. I would like to see it in action. It's been a while since that's been talked about or whatever. It just seems like another one of those things, but I mean it makes sense for the game. I just haven't seen it, so it's like,
Sure.
Caravan carries 10 times the capacity of a mule, and a mule 10 times the capacity of the player. I think I read that. I heard mount inventory equals same thing. But if the stolen commodities aren't subject to loss on death, it won't matter where the black market is. You'll just hold on to it until you get to one. Yeah, that's why it needs to go in the material bag. Yeah, well said.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think anything taken. We were just talking about this on the tavern podcast as well. I don't think anything that's taken from a caravan until you get it deposited, it shouldn't leave like caravan inventory space. Like it shouldn't go into your pocket that can't be relooted or anything like that. Like it should be available for anybody to take until the mission is complete in whatever way possible. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. I'm gonna catch up on chat. I'm like 7 minutes behind because these guys talk so much. All these voices in Vera, my gosh.
Again.
We'll catch up with chat and then we'll get into the nitty gritty, the main debate of the night, and we'll hear each other's takes. And we got a special surprise that Else doesn't even know about. We were talking about it earlier, chat, but we'll get to that. Fox says, what if instead of being in your inventory, you have to physically carry it and can't access skills until you drop it? Okay, that's doing too much. This world is way too big. Fourth Realm says, And people forget that there will be so many other systems affected with attacking a caravan. There will be more long-term consequences rather than instant consequences. Well said. Vertex says attacker equals didn't spend a dime to show up. Defender equals all the money on the line is theirs. Attacker wins. They are not suddenly risking anything. They still didn't pay for any of the goods on the caravan. So that take to me respectfully doesn't make sense. And here's what I mean. I get what you're saying, and we were talking about this earlier. I think the attacker should have risk, but it's all about, I think the mentality you're approaching it with doesn't make sense. And that's the point of the game. That's the point. That's the risk you take for moving a caravan. Yes, you're the one that put that work into gathering, moving the materials and everything like that. But why are you doing it? You're doing it to make a profit. That's your goal. And the game is designed around risk versus reward. You're going to risk that moving of a caravan because you could just run it in your backpack, right? You can move all the stuff one at a time, but you are choosing to do this PvP system to move your goods a lot more convenient at once. So yes, you're the one that put all the stuff on the line initially, but there's going to be no way to make the attacker. Why should the attacker have to risk based off what you had? Or it's never going to be comparable. They never would have put the work in. But yes, the attacker should be subject to something. And that's why we're trying to figure out a way like, okay, the attacker has to transport a caravan. Maybe what this guy said earlier about not being able to loot on the spot at all is a good call, a good take. Maybe that is where the system needs to go for people to feel better about it. And I totally get your desire and the frustration because it's going to be frustrating. I'm not immune to this. Don't get me wrong. I'm not using PvP brain. I'm saying this as a person that's going to have to move caravans, move goods myself.
I'll be moving goods. Absolutely.
Like, and I know it's a horrible metaphor, but that's like me having $1,000 in my wallet, walking into a shady bar or a back alley of that bar, getting robbed, and like, well, what did they have at stake? Obviously, that's a horrible comparison because they're risking getting caught by the police or something, but you get what I'm saying. Like, yes, the attacker didn't put in that work, but you are the one looking for profit. You're the one looking to gain. And that's the difference. It's gambling. It's literally gambling. You're the one putting something on the line. You're risking running into attackers. And I think it's a perspective thing, a mentality thing that people had to just adjust. And this is something that we've known about since we've started following the game. Hatter says, go ahead.
The other thing to add on to that, nice, like we're gonna go around and we're gonna do a more in-depth conversation about this. You said in a little bit here. I believe that the attackers carry a lot of risk. I think they actually do carry quite a bit, and I'm excited to talk about it more. But like, yeah, you said you're probably like 12 minutes behind in conversation now. So I'll wait. But that's my belief. I currently believe that attackers carry enough risk currently to where we should just go into Alpha 2 and then test and then tweak things. So and I'll explain why when we get there.
Yeah, we'll actually start it off with your reasoning or thinking of attackers having risk. Okay. Chat, I know I'm really behind. I'm gonna skip some stuff, but I have read it all. Peon says, okay, that one I gotta read out loud. He says, as long as it doesn't take away from the brothel. I think corruption should be adjustable, but at the same time, what if the community of a node dealt with gankers and made it not worth it, or else they'll get jumped? Low corruption would work. That's fair. Original owner spawns a caravan, retakes his stuff. He doesn't have to go back to a black market or vendor. The entire west continent for Alpha 2, just a few biomes. Yeah. I mean, we don't know what they said they're going to launch with a couple of biomes, but that's not going to be representative of the full game, right?
No.
Don't you only need the black market if you open the commodities crate? Yeah, the stolen one. Yep. If you loot it on the spot. If you leave it closed, you don't. Yes, correct. The caravan only has one player running. Will be is there no one else? Mule's a giant backpack.
Oh boy.
Your personal risk is relevant to your personal reward. Oh my gosh, hold on. Galwood just dropped some bars. Hold on.
Yeah, Galwood and I talked last night, so he probably dropped a gem.
Let me read BM's here. BM says you can't ruin the incentive to attack, which is that you didn't have to put all the work in to start the encounter. Galwood says your personal risk is relevant to your personal reward. It's not your risk versus my risk. If my caravan is worth 1,000 gold, there's no system that can make the attacker pay 1,000 gold.
Yes.
Holy crap. There you go. There you go.
I told
the game
you.
is like, yo, clown number one is clown number one in Narc's Discord for a reason. That I can't say it better than that. Like, your personal risk isn't relevant to your personal reward. Exactly. People are like, oh, I need the attackers to have more risk. They didn't put in this work. Yes, you put in the work so you can get this profit. You're going to get a reward, a huge reward, if that caravan is successful. The game is rewarding you for that risk. If you make it, you get this, you go through this gamble, you're going to get a huge profit.
Yep.
You're only upset because things can go wrong. And I'm going to be upset. Bro, I put in a lot of work and someone robs my caravan, I'm going to be upset. But I get it. Because guess what? If the times that my caravans are successful, the times that I do get that 1,000 gold, like, we can't make everything based off the amount of work that you put in. You put in that work so you can get that profit.
Yep. That was a great conversation Galwood and I had last night as well. And his point is exactly what he said there as well. And I'm gonna word it a little bit differently to sound just as smart, even though I'm not. His point was, if you provided a system to where an attacker had to invest equally the same amount as a defender up front, with everything else involved, nobody would engage in the system. The system is its individual system, but it's also the catalyst for a lot of other systems. Think of it as like the igniter for the tinderbox of drama that will happen elsewhere. And so, we're gonna dive into it more. But yeah, that is, once again, it's a great point by Galwood.
Yes, I freaking love that. Drew Play says, I think they need to make stolen goods very, very low value to incentivize attackers to use the return caravan system. Yes, that is perhaps my biggest take, or like, if you guys take anything from the stream, because personally, I think I'm being very on the fence in the middle. Like, don't get me wrong, I like, the current thing, but don't look at it as like I'm just being pure PvP brain. I want that. No, I said it. I said this exact same thing. They need to make sure that you cannot loot on the spot so they can subject attackers to the same caravan risk system. I have been on the record saying it. I have said it 14 times this stream. So I'm not being biased. Just throwing that out there. But it makes so much sense. Ron says caravan protectors will probably be better geared due to them being more likely to gather and use the systems to get better gear. Planning is already a risk in itself. Attackers are at risk by getting beat by an old man with a stick. Vertex says, I missed everything you said after reading my comment. Oh, god dang, Vertex. We'll read it again. That Bree bothering him. So pretty much
shaking my head.
Vertex says to Galwood, what personal risk is there currently announced for attackers, though? Vertex says, risk doesn't even need to be perfectly equal, just something. Yeah, see, I feel like I'm finally caught up on chat. I think, and I'll summarize my take because I'm gonna let Else kind of take the stage here, you guys. I'm gonna summarize once again my take. I feel that the stolen commodities or whatever should either A, not be a thing, or be so minimal, like 5% if you choose to loot on the spot, and it should go in the material bag. Mm-hmm. So it's even more incentive not to loot on the spot. I feel like you should subject the attackers to that same system that you subjected that initial caravan to. So you have to haul the goods back, and that the person that robbed your caravan at least has risk of getting his caravan robbed. So I am a firm believer in that. But I am also a huge belief in what Galwood worded very well here, where he said, and as far as people that think there's not enough risk for the attackers in that sense, he said something along the lines of, you can never equate the risk, like there's never going to be a way to do that. Risk. It takes away it takes away from the system. I'll let you kind of I'll let you take the stage as far as what risk do you feel the attackers have, Else?
Okay, so I've been practicing this. We have to kind of start at the beginning to establish truths to get at the same baseline. My point of view starting out is I think that attackers carry enough risk now to where when we get an alpha 2, like we can test and tweak that. And I think there's a big portion that's being missed, and I want, like, this is what we're going to talk about now. So starting off, as far as Vera goes, and as far as MMORPGs go, the name of the game is progression. Your goal is to progress in your life skills, in PvP, your node, whatever you want to do for your in-game player loop. People want to get better as the game goes on, right? So if you're a crafter, you want to be a grandmaster crafter. If you want to be a mayor, you want to be a mayor of a bigger node. Everybody wants in-game gold to be able to continue to play their favorite player loops. And so all of this is incentivizing players to want to go to a node to improve it. So when Vera opens up, when these servers open up, I envision it as like a big land grab where you're going to have different guilds going out to these different nodes to attempt to build it as quickly as possible, where you farm resources, you do quest lines, you do these things because you're trying to build your node up. That's where you get better gear. That's where you get better weapons. That's where you get better quest lines. That's where you get better animal husbandry, like your freeholds and everything. So people are going to want to level up their nodes because that's what MMORPGs do best, is progression. Yeah. The thing is Ashes of Creation isn't linear progression. Sometimes you're going to take 2 steps forward and then it's 1 step back, or it's 3 steps back. And there's risk involved with how the systems are incorporated. And so when you look at this as a land grab system and how things are going to start out, where caravans come into play is caravans are going to have a way, they're going to allow people to potentially reap bigger rewards for the work that they're doing. So we talked about it before in this podcast, Nice, where if we're in an area that the plentiful resource is ash, on the other side of the map, it's way more rare. And so let's say hypothetically we collect 100 pieces of ash, and in our area, they go for 1 gold a piece. Well, if we travel an hour south, they might be worth 10 gold a piece. And so we've just 10x'd our return on, maybe a week's worth of farming by just traveling, taking an hour out of our time to go to somewhere else in order to expedite this process. And so mayoral caravans will work in the exact same way. If you think about it that way, where caravans are providing a multiplier on your resource returns, the nodes that send out the most successful caravans are going to yield way more resources, way more gold, way more value than just a node that stays like introverted and doesn't work with anybody. Like, you're going to have some node mayors where they're like, hey, we're not going to get involved with anybody else. We're going to do us. We're going to stay within our area. We're not making any waves. But their node next to them, they're like, hey, and you can do this from an attacker's perspective, and you can go out and say, hey, we're going to bully everybody and do this and like collect as many resources as possible. Or you can be the more peaceful route, and you can say, hey, for a while, we're not going to have to worry about the other side of the map. So maybe we open up trade routes with these further away nodes, and we both say, hey, like, we get a 6x return if we trade with each other. Do you want to trade with each other? And then you open up these trade routes, and now, even though both these nodes are doing the same amount of work, the one is generating 5 to 6 times the amount of gold, of resources, of commodities that go towards building up your node, to build defenses, to supply people in your node with specific things, like whatever you have about whatever you want to get. And so individual players and mayors will be incentivized to run these caravans. Because if you think about it, like, if you get a 5x return, like, you don't have to be successful that often in order for it to be better than to just keep them in the node that you're in. True. Right? So, like, you only need to be successful twice. 2 out of 5 times you need to be successful on a 5x return for it to be more valuable than for them to just stay in your node. And so that's one of the aspects. So you're going to have people, myself included, and I'm going to drag Nice's ass with me to do these caravan runs, because like it's just going to be so valuable to do so. And so the risk that we have, it's clearly tangible. Everybody's talked about it. We don't need to go into too many details on this. It's whatever's in the caravan and the cost of the caravan itself and our time and effort. But the attackers carry risk whether they win or not. And the reason that is because of resource scarcity. Because there's only so many high-end level nodes, because there is only so many of these, that means there's only so many freeholds, which means there's only so many grandmaster crafters. So when somebody takes another node's caravan, that's them basically saying, hey, I value my progression more than I value yours. I think what I'm doing is more important than what you're doing. And we're all talking about it. People in the Voice of Error are talking about how annoying it's going to be to lose a caravan. Absolutely. I'm not going to be happy about losing it either. But that's part of the risk that you carry. Now, I was listening to Vladis's stream yesterday, and he was talking about individual risk in names, and his argument was, hey, individual people aren't going to have a notebook for individual players, like, oh, this person attacked me, whatever, unless they're like repeat offenders. But you will have a conversation about guilds that attack you. And with caravans are designed in a way to be more of a group v group based thing. Like, you're not going to see, the world is designed to be working with a group. Steven said, he's like, they're trying to create a world where you actually work with other players. So that means attacking and defending caravans will be group v group, which means a lot of it will be guild v guild. So if Nice and I are in a guild and we're attacking a caravan, win or lose, we have now made it clear to the caravan that we value our effort of attacking them over their progression. And now we are looked as hostile combatants, whether we take it or not. And so if we're willing to take that caravan, we're probably willing to take other caravans. Yep. And so it then comes down to how nodes are going to set themselves up. And there's a lot of nuance. I don't want to dive too much into all the individual things, but it's pretty clear that if you're a smaller guild in a smaller node and you attack a larger one, they're going to beat you with a stick. They're just going to beat the shit out of you. This is pretty clear. A lot of smaller nodes, they'll work together because they're going to say, hey, we're not big enough to defend ourselves. Let's all like basically have like a suicide pact. If somebody attacks one of us, they attack all of us. And you're going to have groups of nodes that are basically going to be like, hey, if anybody attacks you, they're facing the wrath from all of us, because that's how we're set up. And you're not going to know who has these alliances. Now, like I said, the defenders have the clear, tangible, built-in risk. The attacker's risk is that if you're sacking caravans, the issue is that if you piss off the right people or the right specific groups, they will come and ransack your node and wipe out all progression that you have been working towards. So all these caravan runs that you've been doing to level up your node, to have all these things, they can declare a node war on you and they can crush you down to zero. And so the risk of the attackers is the fact that you can lose everything. And so it's not clearly tangible, and it's not going to happen as often. But the risk of literally losing everything, I mean, nice. Imagine if we were like in a higher level node, like we were one stage away from the max level node, right? And you're a mayor. What would you say to people that were sacking caravans? You'd probably be like, hey guys, we're one away. Like, let's just not freaking do this, okay? Like let's keep our stuff. Let's get this to this next step. Let's not attack neighboring caravans, because we don't need the target on our back right now. We don't need it. We're already here. And so you're going to see people value their time and effort, and they're going to sack caravans less and less. And so, the comparison I made last night, Nice, it's like playing Russian roulette, right? Like, if you play Russian roulette, 5 out of 6 times you win, right? Like, you have great odds to win, but when you lose, it's over. Like, you're done. And so people don't go around going like, yeah, I got an 85% chance to win. They're like, this is going to be awesome. No, because sometimes you don't win and it's over. And this is kind of the video game version of that. Like, hours, weeks, months worth of progression can be wiped away because you pissed off the wrong people.
Like, I think something that a lot of us, you kind of alluded to it, something that a lot of us forget, that, and I'm playing the Nodes 1 video in the background for reference.
Sure.
But like, you're going to have stuff like this. Like, there's going to be times where it's everyone against the world.
Yep.
Like, there's going to be people raiding, there's going to be ads raiding nodes. There's going to be stuff. We're going to need to work together. Like, when you think about the caravan stream, understand that was a pre-rehearsed situation. No one's sitting out in the middle of nowhere on this huge map hoping that a caravan goes by. But yes, there will be attackers that you just happen to be crossing the same choke point or path, if somehow that happens. And yes, that it can happen to you. You can have your caravan sacked. And I saw the points that you were making in there, Galwood while talking to Vertec, as far as like, your profit margin is so huge on caravans that, and if you don't put all your eggs in one basket, you're not really going to be too SOL.
Yep.
I think that's a good point. But anyways, there's going to be a caravan, and nodes, especially if you're a citizen of a metropolis node, you're probably not even going to want to hit nothing in that remote area, because those vassal nodes, whatever he turns into that node, is going to feed into your main node, and then everyone helps each other. Is the best way I can say it.
Yep.
Now, if you go on the whole other side of the continent and you're raiding caravans over there, okay, maybe so, but yeah, you're going to start seeing node sieges happen a lot more because of that. Maybe the mayor's not keeping he decided to put a black market in his node, and maybe it's the military node, and maybe that's where all the PvP scoundrels have been hanging out, and the whole server is on Discord for that server, and they're just like, hey, we gotta get rid of these guys. Like, I can never get my caravan from the cave over here. There's always someone waiting there, and it's the same guild, and this guild, the mayor of this guild, the guild leader of this guild is the mayor over here, and then it's drama, it's political strife. It's supposed to be a thing. But yeah, the node system is something people got to think about. I think it's another thing. I personally think the attacker's risk is there, or it will be there. I think if you make that caravan run for the attackers a thing, then it'll be fine. If not, then I mean, it's just PvP. It's a mobile PvP objective, and we just get over it. If it gets to the point where you're just being harassed, that's a whole nother thing. Maybe we revisit it. But I think as it stands right now, if this world is as big as they're claiming, I think we're fine, chat. If you are smart enough to not run a caravan solo, I think we're fine. Matter of fact, here, let me reshare my screen. Here, let me this little scene right here. I should probably have used it in the video. This is what you guys need to do. Look at that. These guys, they're not going to be complaining about the attacker's risk. These guys are not complaining about the risk to these attackers, because you know what? Any attacker that chooses to pull up on them is probably not going to live that long. You see this? They are 3 caravans deep. They got how many guards? Look at the ranger. Look at the ranger is ready for the smoke. They are fine. That caravan is getting delivered. They're making their profit margin. They didn't go sail across the sea the sea to the east side of the map, farm for 2 hours, get a mule, bring that mule to a caravan or something, sail across the ocean, get back to their side, and then get ganked running solo a caravan, and then complain. No, they were prepared.
Well, nice. Let me put you in a situation, okay? And this is going to be different for other players, obviously. But I want to get your opinion on this. Let's put you in the seat of a guild leader, right? You're a guild leader, working for a node, and like you have to go to bed because you got friggin' work and kids and 10 dogs and 7 wives and that whole nonsense. So you can't be on to play the game.
But yeah.
Okay, 8 dogs. Okay, congratulations on the new puppy.
For sure.
But yeah, like, so you're in that situation and you wake up, you hop on the game the next day or the day after, and your guild says, hey, while you were gone, this same guild tried to attack our caravan 3 different times. And you know the guild, like you've been playing, like they've done other stuff in the past, and like they're constantly trying to be aggressors towards your caravan. Now, win or lose, what are you going to do about it?
Oh, we're going to fight back. We're going to attack them back. We're going to make things hard for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of players interested in this type of game are going to do the exact same thing. Now, there will be times, like let's say it's a super guild. Like let's say you have 10, 15 players, and at any point in time, 5 people are online, right? But the guild that you're going up against has like 100 players, but they also have a sister guild with like another 50, right? So they have like 150 players. You might not want to fight them head on, but they're not off your target list. Like they're just because they're out of reach right now doesn't mean they're out of reach forever. And if they're doing it to you, they're probably doing it to other nodes and other guilds. And so what I should ask you what you would do before I say what I would do. But what would you do in that situation with a large, massive guild oppressing you in that way?
I'd get my guild or link up with some people, and we're going to start a node siege. Or guess what? We're going to set up and start attacking their caravans.
Yeah, Guerrilla
It's that
tactics.
simple.
Yep, guerrilla
Yeah.
tactics, working around, like just playing smart and
Two,
trying.
two can play this game mentality.
Yep, yeah, and
Literally in this game.
yeah, and that's exactly what I do. And you're gonna have those two things. You're gonna be the point where you carry the bigger stick, and you're gonna be like, I'm just gonna beat you down, and like you're gonna learn your lesson. You're gonna learn today. And there's gonna be other times where you're the smaller guild, and you're gonna be like, hey, you're still gonna learn today. Well, maybe not today. You're gonna learn, but like maybe we need to get a few more people first. Maybe we need to work out some alliances and then set some things up. But yeah, the attackers in these situations carry the risk of literally losing everything. And so yeah, defenders, caravan carriers of these resources, depending on the multipliers and everything, it could be extremely, extremely profitable. And so as long as it's incentivizing caravan runners to run these caravans, I'm going to be doing it. Like if you look at it from this situation, and the last thing I'll say, let's say I collect 100 ash as another example, and in our area it's worth 1 gold. So turning in 100 ash is 100 gold. If I carry the same caravan across the map and it takes like an hour and a half, it's worth 10x, so it's worth 1,000 gold. If I do that 10 times, 10 total times, right? And I should have a chart up to explain this, but if I do that 10 total times, I only need to be successful once to reap the same return as if I turned it in at home, because 10 times turned in at home is 1,000 gold. Once turned in, I can fail 90% of the time on these hour and a half long caravans. And I could lose 9 out of 10 times, but the one time it still makes it profitable. If I win 2 times, I double my profit in this hypothetical situation.
And can I just say that journey, that 1,000 gold journey that you're talking about?
Yeah.
It's gonna be epic. You're gonna be having like, dude, it's gonna be a freaking thrill ride. Like people are like, oh, like, yes, you can be the person that's just scared, looking over their shoulder, like, man, please, I hope no one don't get my caravan. Oh my gosh. But dude, it's gonna be such a thrill. If you took the PvP out of this, you would just be doing chores. And that's something people don't talk about enough. If there was no threat, if there was no PvP, this would just be a daily. How many of you guys play an MMO right now? You log into the MMO, you gotta do your daily dungeon, you gotta do your daily quests. It's not fun. If you guys, if they messed with the system too much and you were never attacked by attackers of the caravan, this would be a freaking chore. It would be a gold, like it would be just what you do for gold because you feel like you have to. Like that thrill, that journey is, dude, you're gonna have to, especially if you do one where you cross the seas.
Yeah.
Like, bro, and you finally get that there, you're gonna want to clip it, you're gonna want to record it, you're gonna be so happy, you're gonna feel so freaking rich. Like, you guys know I use the same example all the time, but if you're on the far west node and you go to the mountains in the top east of the map and you somehow get that ore or a certain commodity from a different node from over there all the way back to yours, like, dude, that's gonna feel good. It's gonna feel worthwhile. This game is gonna respect your time in that sense. But guess what? It's going to feel so good, or it's going to feel even more good because of the risk that you took along the way. Because you know it could not have, there's a chance that it did not go that well. You're going to know, you're going to remember the times that you did fail. You're going to remember the time that that guy just happened to be walking by and, you know, ganked your caravan. You're going to remember the time you did all that stuff, but you made it to the open seas and you ran across a couple of pirates. You're going to know the time that you failed when you were so close right outside your node. But that one time you make it there, that's going to make for the epic story. Not this hand me, like, attackers need to be at risk for harassing me kind of mindset. We need to have fun in this game. We need to endure the risk. You need to gamble a little bit. You know, you guys need to hit Vegas. You just go have some fun.
Hey, I'll meet you guys there, by the way. If you guys want to go to Vegas, we can get a group thing going. So I'm down. No, nice. I briefly wanted to say, if you bring up dailies on this podcast again, I might have to reconsider doing this podcast. So I'm just telling you, I want to
dailies, man. It's so fun.
No, I completely agree with you. And it was funny because Narc's video yesterday did the same thing. He's like, oh my God, this is going to be dailies, isn't it? Nobody likes dailies. Dailies suck.
No,
like they're garbage. And so I do want to say, I agree. This is a good conversation to have with everybody. And obviously until we get in the world, we're not going to see how it plays out. We're like, there's so many moving parts, but that I just want to explain that yes, there is a lot of risk from people that just want to sack caravans. Like they're putting a big target on their backs, and that target is losing way more progression and way more time invested than you are on carrying resources. That's all I wanted to say. So
Yes. Hatter says Narc mentioned that in his video that vassal nodes won't be attacking caravans in that area, and that it'd
yeah.
be more like kingdom wars than just node wars. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Like you're not gonna have to or sometimes want to attack people in that area.
Yep.
Like I don't know. That's maybe it's just a theory for a game that we didn't play, but in my opinion, that's what we can expect. Nibiru says I agree with Else on the node to node caravans, but personal caravans, the goods might still end up in the same spot, just the profit is changing hands.
Sure.
She says I'm the type to poke the bear. This is why we need caravan servers. All right. All comes down to money. How much are you willing to pay for safety? Exactly. Hire some dudes to protect you, man.
PVC servers, is that what we're saying?
I guess. PVC. Fourth Realm says also let's not forget that the node awaits your caravan might also
Yes.
want to help defend the caravan. Ooh,
Yes.
see. You're all in one vassal network. Exactly. Like, hey, I know I'm waiting on this. Here's a rough example, chat. I know I'm waiting on this. I'm in a tier 3 node. There's still a chance that my node can potentially hit stage 5, maybe stage 6. If we can, like this land grab Else is talking about, if we can beat the neighboring node to advance. Think about it like that. Look at it from that mindset, right, chat? We need this node to advance. If I see a caravan in this area, especially because I know that caravan is going to help boost my node, it's going to give us node XP. I'm even more incentivized to defend caravans in that area, right? Like we gotta look at it from that mindset, that we're trying to all advance and be that one that gets selected to be a metropolis. He says it's not gonna be nice if you mess with the nice, goddammit. What up, Raka? BM says good point, Fourth Realm. You're not going to let your node become the dead end road node that people stop trying to get to. Yeah, you don't want to just be the stage 1 or stage 2 node.
Your progression is halted at whatever that
10x
is.
seems a little high though. Hey, let's hope that they reward people. That's important. They need to reward players' time. If it takes as long to cross that map as they're making it sound like, a 10x multiplier may not be out the question. Maybe you just say 5. We'll test, right?
Or 3, but yeah, like it's something, right?
Yeah.
So the comment about vassal nodes, really quick, nice. I did agree with that point that that Narc made. Like once you're established as the vassal node, yeah, like you'll be working with your main kingdom, and you guys will be inclined to basically work together until the main kingdom's toppled, and then you try to make your run again. But initially starting out, like your neighboring nodes are your enemies starting out on the server. Like you're trying to become the main kingdom, and you're trying to make everybody else your vassal node. And so with exactly what you were just talking about, like before those kingdoms are established, you're trying to become top dog. And so sometimes you're going to have to establish a pecking order. And that means beating down like your neighbors, maybe taking their stuff. Maybe if they try to take your stuff, beating them on the head a little bit and being like, hey, we'll come back and building yourself up that way. And so, yeah, I completely agree with Narc that like the vassal nodes will exist, but starting out that like it's all blank slate, and it's just whoever gets leveled up first gets the advantage.
Indeedly. Ashes of Never has a good take here. Well, hopefully the market will adjust to how much risk players are willing to take.
Yes.
I probably in detail talked about this in my recent MMO economy done right, Ashes of Creation video I posted maybe a week ago, and that like that caravan is going to be at so much risk crossing the seas or however far away that went. If there are a lot of basically the threat of and risk of being attacked makes those goods very valuable, especially if they come from a different side of the map, right? Something like a little seldom. And that could be good for risk versus reward. But guess what? What if you're making big money every time you get something hauled very far, every time that caravan is successful. But let's say the risk is too crazy on your server or on your side of the map, right? If there are too many caravan sieges, it may be a bad thing, even though that stuff, when you do get it successful there, it may be a bad thing. And here's why I say that. Maybe you want things to be a little cheaper. You don't have a good way to make money. You never got that freehold to have a processing station. You're not in a big guild that's helping you out with gold, or you don't have too many friends. Maybe you're the rare solo player. Guess what? Maybe you ought to sign up as a defender.
Yep.
And try to limit those caravan attacks. Because if that caravan doesn't make it, maybe that drives up the price of everything. Because it's so common that caravans are successfully raided that the price of goods are just skyrocketing because no one can get their goods transported, or they're having to do like 5 backpack runs in comparison to 1 caravan run. You see what I'm saying? It could be in your best interest to defend some caravans, and obviously you make gold by defending a caravan. Have the person pay you.
Yeah, it very well nice could be. I mean, we talked about this a little bit as well, but the example I brought up is, when I went into Imperial City and I was looking for a fight, I carried like a shit ton of Telvar stones on me because I was like, hey, I'm trying to broadcast that I'm here and you can take my stuff. And and if you're a PvPer, and that's not everybody, I'm not trying to say that or anything of the sort, but if as a PvPer, if I see attackers are winning caravans more than defenders, I'm personally going to look at it as, wow, if I really get good at this caravan transport thing to where I'm more successful than everybody else, I've now carved out a niche where I get all the PvP I want, but then I get inherited value off of being one of the few groups that are good at it, and I get rewarded for it. And so you
want to run an escort service with me is what you're saying.
And so Galwood was talking last night, and I said, by the way, we're gonna have to have him on our server because he wants to basically have like a resource system to where he's able to hire out mercenaries to transport things, and we're the mercenaries that he could hire out, and so it just works out perfectly. But yeah, like if it's a system where if the attackers aren't winning, I want to attack. If the defenders aren't winning, I want to defend. And I want to basically just get all the combat I could get doing the exact opposite. So,
yeah, if people are attacking caravans enough, that's going to be a great opportunity for PvP. Defending caravans, man.
Yeah.
And you feel like a good guy when you do it, right? You're like, I did my charity. Even though you're getting paid, you're like, I'm doing my charitable thing and help this guy get his resources.
And then you're a PvP guild and you get to be like, hey, these guys attacked us. We got to declare a guild war.
Guys, the good PvP. Because PvP and PvPers often get a bad rep, but we could be the positive PvPers, the ones that people are wanting to hire to protect their caravans. Like we're a PvP focused group, but we're like, they see our guild, they know they're not okay. Put it this way. If you got a friend that's not good at PvP, or you're both some pure PvEers, like, hey, I got a caravan to run. Can you come help me? How much help are they really going to be? If it's especially in an outnumbered situation, then you look at me and Else, who have a reputation on the server for fighting outnumbered or 1vx and are really good, like actual PvPers, right? You hire us, you're probably going to pay a little more. I'm just giving y'all a heads up. You're probably going to pay a little bit more.
We're going to charge a premium, but yeah, we'll do it.
But you're going to be so sure that your caravan arrives safely, and you're going to feel actually safe. You're going to feel like you got your gold's worth. And if the caravan fails, you get what's going to be our policy? You get half your gold back or a quarter of your gold back. We'll work out the kinks in your contract.
Depends on our success rate, of course. Like we'll make it work out. And yeah, like the other nice part in 2 Nice is our guild. We then get to unleash our guild on whatever guild attacks us. So it's like, hey, by the way, like Flowers of Narnia over here like attacked us last night. We get to declare war on them, and then when they get upset about it, we get to go, hey, you attacked us first. And so we get to unleash PvP. Like we get to unleash the wrath of PvPers on a guild. And yeah, you guys better not have a guild castle because we're knocking. So
I was just thinking about what you had said with charging, the gold back policy, like depending on our success rate. We could have one of those signs on our stream, like days at work since an accident or whatever. Like it's been 42 days without a caravan being destroyed or something like that.
Man. The amount of PvP we would get off a sign like that would be so good.
It's like, all right, let's break this streak. Fourth Realm says, and let's not forget the main wonderful thing about PvP. That's the part of the game where you can't predict and control the situation 100%. It's the part where you can shine, grow, and get that dopamine rush. Well said.
Very well said.
Uh, Variant said, "You stream in Alpha 2, nice." Indeed, me and Else will each be streaming Alpha 2. Alpha 2 is gonna be great. Bro, that might be my first 24-hour stream. I'm gonna be streaming the heck out of it. We'll still be doing the voices of Vera, but we'll actually, like, we talk about this a lot. But when Alpha 2 actually drops and we do this, like, it's gonna be so different because we're gonna be talking about live issues, right? Like clerics OP, they need to adjust this. What's gonna be the next? When is Summoner finally gonna be released? And blah blah blah. There's gonna be so much more to talk about. Still the same kind of stuff, but there's gonna be more because we're gonna have our hands on the game. We're gonna be doing testing. There's gonna be a lot of you that don't have Alpha 2 access, and you're like, hey, can you do this, or can you go through this, or can you show me this? How does this work? It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing. But yes, I will be streaming Alpha 2.
Yeah, and I will be also. Maybe we just do like a Ludwig style stream where we're just at our computer for 7 days straight. I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that.
Oh my god.
I'm just kidding.
Crazy.
I'm not doing that. But yeah, there's so many things like I get it. Like this is a type of game that not a lot of people are used to, and there's a lot of concerns because it's not something that people have experienced before, and a lot of people are willing to give this game a shot because all of the other systems look fantastic, but they're worried about PvP. And I totally get it. Like I'm an avid PvPer. Like I'm not in the same boat, but I totally get that perspective. I totally understand that. I want to explain as well. I'm the type of PvPer that wants the good fight. And so there are more people like us out there. We're not just the guys that are picking on like the low level people that can't fight back. Like some of us want actually competitive fights and challenging competition and everything. Yes. And Nice and I put ourselves in that situation all the time. So for those of you guys that are worried about like bullies and getting picked on and getting like your caravans taken nonstop, there's a lot of players like us that are literally going to exist to get that type of combat from the people attempting to bully. And so, because that's what we want, like that's the type of fight that we actually want, that we get way more fun out of. And so we're not all that way. We're not all that way. Like there's going to be plenty of people that will exist out there that will help you with caravans and help you out. You don't have to be good at PvP to enjoy this game, I don't think. Yes. We're going to need everybody. Like I'm going to need somebody to make me gear. Like if you can make me a flying mount, that'd be fantastic. Like I would love that. But yeah, like that would be my role as the PvP guy. But there's other roles out there.
Tatamo says, late but enjoyed your latest video on the current drama. Thank you so much, dude. Welcome on in. Variant says, need 50 if you want to make it across the ocean. Guys are nice. Where do you stand on risk for caravan attackers? I have a hot take. Caravans are drivers for profit in so many ways, and that's the risk you take to run one, is that you may get attacked. Oh yeah, we've been preaching that all stream. Yes, you're the one looking to make a profit. You're initiating the risk. You know what you got yourself into, and if you make it unscathed, if you get that delivery done, it's gonna all be worth it.
As long as the profits and yields are valuable, like a 5x, like whatever it is, like 3x, 5x, 10x, as long as it's incentivizing people to participate in caravans, the system will be alive and well from an attacker's and defender's perspective.
Gazer also says, I don't see that attackers need to have high risk to attack the caravans. Yeah, I'll give a quick summary of what you've missed so far, but initially what I was saying is, if there's going to be any risk, I mentioned this in my video. One thing I mentioned in my video was like, I would like because Steven has been like, it seems back and forth or inconsistent, or it could just be the way I'm interpreting it, but it doesn't seem like death penalties will be on caravans. I'm a advocate for death penalties being applicable in caravan death. So like if that attacker dies, I want him to get a little, maybe even XP debt, some gear degradation, or little stuff like that.
Gear degradation.
It needs to, any thing that you would normally get for dying open world as a flag person, I want to be applicable, even though that's an objective based thing, simply because of how open world that objective based thing is. Also, I have been advocating this stream for you get very minimal resources, or zero if you try to loot caravan crates on the spot. I want the attacker to be subject to the same caravan system that they attacked. That's something, and I use that loosely. I don't know the exact number, like I was saying earlier, but I want the attacker to have to use a caravan to get that stuff back, and so it just switches hands. So they take this, they undergo the same system. I think that could be a conversation worth having. Um, what else? Ashes of Nera says Steven talked about how there are real benefits to being a vassal node. We'll have to wait and see what the benefits are, of course, but I think they need to be really good in order for people to work together within the entire vassal chain. Yes. It's obviously, I think it's gonna work top down, like where the metropolis is feeding off of everybody, and everybody under the stage 5 is feeding to that person, and so forth, so forth. I think the bottom feeder node is going to be super happy as far as the benefits they get. Well, that's not true, because a lot of node benefits do carry down, to be fair, supposedly. So I guess they will get some. That's true. Let's see.
But if hypothetically the big king node gets toppled, I mean, some of those vassal nodes might not be against it. They might not be like, oh yeah, well that sucks for you guys, but now we're taking over.
You made room for us to grow, exactly. Crabs in a barrel mentality may happen. Peon says your channels will blow up. Hope you guys are ready, dude. That would be insane. I hope so. This will be the first time I've been there for an MMO launch. Like even New World, like you guys know, I've done some New World content, but I didn't. Alice and I didn't play at launch. We started playing at Brimstone, which was like I think exactly a year after New World launch. So we have not been there for a New World launch. I think we both started playing ESO on console, which was technically a year after ESO started. So this will be my first being there for an MMO launch. I may touch Throne and Liberty, but I don't plan on doing content for it right now. But it'll be nice to kill a month or so before Alpha 2, because I assume Throne and Liberty is going to be out before Alpha 2. So yeah, as far as in the West, that is.
We're Elden Ring mains now.
Exactly. Oh, dude, I came up with an Elden Ring build. I was at work just crunching numbers. I ain't gonna lie. I min-maxed, dude. I min-maxed the hell out of my, like, even since that screenshot, I've got like 5 more screenshots. I finally got it literally perfect. Like, I got the bare minimal endurance that I need for my armor. It's anyway, let me stop. I was about to get super Elden Ring geek in this stream, but yeah, I'm excited. BM says, nice. You should set a goal to be the king of kings and rule vassal states. Dude, imagine if one of us became a mayor, or like we got so big during Alpha 2, like we were able to do like our own guild and like actually have a lot of people and help a lot of people. Like
yeah. So okay. So this is a slightly different subject, but it's in the same vein. Nice. And so people have asked this, and this is why I'm bringing it up, because it was brought up a little bit last night as well. People were asking about like, oh yeah, like your guild, like how big is your guild going to be? And like, you know, we've kind of dodged the subject. Like you're already in a guild before the game starts, and my entire perspective on guild size depends on like what type of fights we can get in, right? Like, like I don't want to have like a 700 person guild and the fights that I get involved in are like 700 v50. Like that's not the type, that's not enjoyable for me at all. So I need to know like how guilds are going to be structured and everything before I get involved in that at all. The other thing too is I don't want a guild with high turnover, because the way I like to play, the play style that I like to play, we don't win very often. We don't have like a 95% win rate. We have, you know, less because we're trying to fight outnumbered all the time. So like my perspective has always been, it depends on the amount of people we're fighting. And then it also depends on how many people we have that would want to play with us, that just basically have the, you know what, fuck you guys attitude. Like not, I'm quitting. It's just, you know what? Yeah, I'm stubborn as shit and I'm going to deal with this, because, we had I think there's going to be a lot of players that are just going to go from one powerful guild to the next, and they're just going to bottom feed. And I don't want to deal with any of those players at all. I don't want to deal with any of that turnover. I'd rather just have just find badasses, basically.
I'll be honest, I don't want to be the guild. I know a lot of people, that's their goal. I don't want to be the big bad guy, like the main guy. And that's why I'm looking at the options for like, that's why the concept of because I don't know for sure 100% what I'm going to do come launch Alpha 2, whatever.
Sure.
Because what I'm keeping open is the concept of guild alliance systems. So if you guys don't know, you can be allied with another guild. So like, yes, it's technically a separate guild roster, but you know, you guys are allied. You can have a parent guild. You can say, oh, this is the main one, but yeah, I'm kind of with else. I like small scaling. I want to be like the me and Else on the back line, main Zerg, like maybe our guild ally, they're at they're the big guild, they're the big PvP guild. They're handling the front lines of the node siege. They're coordinating, they're shot calling, they're doing all this. I want to be the X's. I want me, Else, and maybe 3 others, maybe depending on how the game is. And we're hitting the back lines. We're our own thing. Like, hey, we help you. We're cool with you guys. We're like the allied guild. We're the off guild. That's probably my goal, because I want to make sure that I'm not the big bad guy. In theory,
I'm not okay. So I'm not against being the big bad guy, if, and it's a big if
there's other big bad guys.
If we have like all of the bit, like if we make the guild that's the big bad guy, basically we're now the bad guy for everybody else. Like we paint the target, and we just basically say, hey, we're taking on everybody. Like if we take on the, like if this is a hypothetical situation, guys, but like if we have like 200 badasses, right? Like we have 2 neighboring guilds or whatever, and like there's like 200 of us and we're really freaking good. The challenge will be to try to fight off as many people as possible. And so that's the only situation where I'd ever want to do that, is if we get the right group. But for me, it's like, okay, we'll just play it by ear. We'll kind of see how things go and those sorts of things. Cause I don't want to be the big group bullying smaller groups. I want the challenging fights.
Yes. So 4th realm BM, I did see 4th realm's comment, and now I'm infuriated. He says, 4th realm says to BM, he says, yep, I'm even a little against cosmetic armor that isn't aligned with the actual armor you are wearing. It sucks to meet a tank with full plate armor, but he's visually dressed in a robe. And then BM says, don't let Nice see that. He and I got in a back and forth, go back and forth on that a lot. I am so against look like what it just kills creativity in an MMO. I love transmog. Like I'm playing Elden Ring right now, and poise is a very important stat. And so you don't get to do fashion. I love customizing my character. I love looking unique. I love feeling cool, looking cool. And in that game, there's no transmog, so what you see is what you get. That's what they're wearing. And so I'm like, man, I really wish I had transmog. But I don't get me wrong though. I'm not saying it's a bad argument, because I totally get people's point when they say they don't like that. I think we talked about this in detail one stream, but essentially Ashes of Creation is going to get rid of that concern for you. They're going to have an indicator to tell you what kind of armor weight that they're in. So that won't be an issue. So that way people can look how they want. But if you are the kind of person that you want to gank, so maybe your role is looking for people in lightweight, they're going to have an indicator that they're lightweight. Even if that mage looks like a full plate knight, if that's the cosmetics that they choose to go with, you're going to see that, hey, you're actually in light armor, and then you can focus that person out and make your decisions thusly. So HD said, bro wants to be the SEAL Team 6 of AOC.
Absolutely.
Nibiru says, do we know the range of a caravan when the pop-up menu to join / attack defend is it far enough that you get the pop-up window? You have no clue where I hope it's a decent proximity. Yeah, I hope it's not far enough to where you can't even see it and you get the option. Yeah. Transmog lovers equals imposters. Wildfire says, I've been watching for a while my phone's charging, but I'm here to say yes, I'm 1000% Akatsuki division rogue / cleric pirate style. Oh gosh, I think we're getting guild recruitments in chat.
We're building an army, man. It's gonna happen.
He says, just don't get hit. Don't need poise if you don't get hit. Facts.
That's fair.
Okay, so I'm sorry because I had it saved and I lost the comment. No, I see it. Someone said, when is Talnar reveal? Miyanakoi, I always say your name wrong, says, when is Talnar reveal? So that brings me to something. I mean, we got a lot of Reddit posts to discuss, but that brings me to something I wanted to discuss, and it's super brief. I see I'm approaching a 2-hour mark, but this has been a really fun one. By the way, before we get into this next one, I just want to say, one, thank you all for being here. We got a lot of people in chat. I just want to say, we're 30 plus episodes in. Elsa and I truly appreciate you guys. Like, I have so much fun doing this podcast. So obviously shout out to Else too, but it's about you guys right now. Like, this is, I don't know, this is really fun. Like, we've built quite the community. And when I say community, I'm talking about my community, I'm talking about Elsa's community, and I'm talking about even more so, specifically, this Voices of Vera community. I appreciate all of you. Like this, you guys, the fact that I get 10 minutes behind on chat says a lot about y'all. Like, you guys are so active. There's always, even when people disagree with each other, something that I really appreciate is even when we disagree with each other, or someone's going against the grain, like, okay, like most of us in chat has been like, yeah, the attackers have enough risk, blah, blah, blah. And if there's someone that says, no, actually, everybody doesn't attack them. We don't have that kind of community. Everyone, you know, you type, you disagree, but no one just, no, everyone feels welcome here. If that's what I'm trying to say. Everyone's comfortable. And I really, really like that. We're not like super pansy about it, but everyone has a fair take, a fair perspective. Everyone's heard. All the voices come together and are heard. And yeah, this is awesome. I'm so glad to do this every week.
I completely agree. And I wanted to chime in on that. Like, I'm going to try to speak for Nice here as well, because I think he agrees with me. Neither one of us want to create an echo chamber where only we have people, a group of yes men and yes women that agree with us. Like, we want the conversation, because I'm wrong. Like, I'm wrong a lot. I'm wrong plenty of times. And so when I get things wrong, or when I'm not taking stuff into account, I want to hear it. And it makes me better for it. And so the fact that we can have these back and forths with different players, like, we're all coming from different MMOs. We're all coming from different points of like things that we enjoy. We have different aspects of the game that we like, and that's fine. But we're the main thing that I think that really keeps this going so well is we're all excited about the exact same thing. And that's the thing that stays focused. And so it's like, if somebody disagrees, it's just done at that. There's no harshness or anything like that, nor should there be. It's just a conversation. So
yes. Yes, just thank y'all so much. Appreciate it. Everyone that followed us on Twitch, make sure you guys follow both of us. Even if you're watching, obviously you're probably not watching both of us at the exact same time, but make sure you followed Else on Twitch and YouTube. Make sure you guys are subscribed and followed over here. I got something I want to get into that that person asking about Talnar made me think of. But before I do that, I just saw this comment from Demon Hunter. He says, "Are you all desperate to see another Node Siege showcase?" I cannot say that word right. That's too many S's for me. Take two. Are you all desperate to see another Node Siege showcase? Imagine what all that debate is going to be like regarding risk versus reward, chaos galore.
yeah.
The reason I'm excited to see it is because it's not rehearsed PvP. Like I said before, this previous one kind of had to be rehearsed to make sure that we can see everything and whatever. Then a Node Siege, in theory, wouldn't be rehearsed. So I really like that. I think the Alpha 1 one was very chaotic, very fun to watch. It seemed natural, it just seemed really natural. Like there was no predetermined winner. And so hopefully we get to see one of those. But yeah, so Tonar, I'm hoping are there at the launch of Alpha 2, but they may not be. If you guys don't know, that's the Kickstarter race that we got for hitting a Kickstarter goal. That brought me to a subject that else I actually have this posted in our chat. I want to say it's what I most recently posted. It's on Dunir.
Okay, 1 second. Dunir updated models. That one?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, earlier, Pockets had said unless they want PvE servers, then yeah, okay. You guys don't have to be welcome into those people. To be fair, you guys, I'll be like, sick them, get them, chat, bully that man. I'm playing. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So here's an article. Here's a post on Reddit. When the person said the thing about Dunir, it made me think about Talnar, it made me think about this. It's titled Dunir Updated Models Win. Theory Forge podcast made a great point last night in regards to seeing updated character models. Every dev stream has the same human, elf, etc. racial models. Where are the updated Dunir models? If I remember correctly, there was a small clip showing a new armor design on an updated Dunir model many moons ago. So why the reluctance to show Dunir in game during a dev stream demonstration? It's been since Alpha 1 in 2021 without seeing the Dunir. I'm not gonna make a short joke, and that's probably why we can't see him. Why are they being kept back? Are we going to wait until 2024 quarter 3 to see the new model? Are they just too incredibly awesome to show us that their presentation would crash the interwebs? Please. Oh, I love that Thogly is the first comment on here because I love so he runs. I'm pretty sure he's the guild leader. I could be wrong, but I think he's the guild leader or in the guild. Like of all dwarves, the Dun Guild. He says, I am under the impression that they know dwarves are too awesome and thus to not show not thus to yeah and thus to not want to show our magnificent beards and well-made models. Stop the oppression of dwarves. So I'll be honest, chat. I don't think they're ready. I don't think is that not obvious though? I don't think Talnar are ready. I don't think Dunir are ready. It's weird that we haven't seen a lot of these races in so long. And it's been a while. We keep seeing the same models. Yeah. Gazer says, I'm in Dunhold. That was one of my guildies posting that. Like, I bet, and this is probably tinfoil hat, but I got a feeling that, well, I don't know. They made it work in Alpha 1, right? I got a feeling it's something with the hitboxes or something, or maybe they're just doing that foul polishing. Because I think out of all the races, how you showcase your dwarf is the most important. Like they're gonna compare it to dwarves in other games, right? Your human could be whatever.
Are you really trying to say that short people are important right now, Nice? Is that really what you're broadcasting on this podcast? After all of the slander we've been making about dwarves?
They have really never mind. I'm gonna be an advocate for the little people. I feel like it's weird that they have not seen that character model.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Alpha 1. But no, I do find it very weird, and I wonder when we're gonna see a new race. We saw the Vec, we saw the humans, but yeah, when are we gonna see some Talnar and Dunir? I think it's gonna be a big deal when they do finally show one in Unreal Engine and all the bells and whistles. Ashes of Nera says, hot take, they secretly replaced the Dunir with the Ellen race from Terra. Oh my.
Good. No, I'm just kidding. I think, small tangent, I'm sorry, Nice. I think that if you're going to include dwarves, and that's fine, we absolutely should have them, but there should be a passive skill capability that you get next when you're next to dwarves to where you can toss them. And
yes, that's fair.
And if you can't toss them, what's the point? Like, really?
I hope that that's a parlor game. Like, if you see a dwarf inside of a tavern, that you can just throw them.
Like dwarven bags or something like that, where you have to toss them
or
into
bowling. Yeah, that'd be fun.
That'd be great.
Oh, can you imagine okay, you know the motorcycles with the little sidecar? Can you imagine getting one of those for the mounts to put your dwarf buddy in? Oh, that'd be so adorable.
Yeah, but why do you need that? You got the saddlebag on the side. You can just toss them and stuff them in there.
Okay, that was just rude, else. I now we're canceled by the dude.
Okay, great. I'm sorry. It's all in good fun. It's all in good fun.
Wildfire Present says, we saw them last month. It was a Talnar rogue. Y'all just can't see us. That is true. That is true. That's true. That is very likely. Anything else you want to get at before we close out here?
Chadius says dwarf throwing skill tree. Yes. Yeah, we need this.
Yes. We
need this 100%.
Dwarves are Peon says dwarves are as important as a punter on a NFL team. Rinkai is where it's at. Let's go. Man, I wonder how they're gonna do their hitboxes. I wonder if they're gonna dwarves are gonna like super abuse line of sight. A dwarf rogue, man. Could you imagine? That is the best thing to me. Like, that is hilarious. Two different ways that you're gonna be hard to see.
Yep.
Bro, a dwarf in tall grass with a ranger using the camouflage skill? Because it doesn't show your nameplate. That's gonna be crazy. You can abuse grass.
I know we detected him, but he's in the bushes, so we can't see him.
Any solution for Elsa's loot/threat suggestion? Which one was that?
What?
Loot/threat suggestion. Your loot/threat suggestion. I don't remember that one.
I don't remember that either.
I wonder if I don't know if this is what you guys if he's referring to, but that reminds me. What's that developer's name? Corey? Oh, Quantian Slurp. He was in whose stream was he in? Vladis's stream talking about and this is potentially that you can get corrupted for looting, but I thought you could loot a body without being corrupted. But that I probably shouldn't have brought that up as we're closing out. But that's something I really want clarification on. I can see halfling rogue or goblinoid rogue too. So since there is marriage in the game, are you two getting married? If there's an XP bonus and he's hot.
Oh, I mean, you already know. So it's a no.
I do wonder what benefits. I know the freehold thing with marriage, but I wonder if there's going to be like a XP bonus when group. You know how ESO does XP bonus when group with your marriage person. I wonder. Wildfire says it was a few streams back when he literally solved how we can judge who gets the loot, but tanks would always get the crap end of the stick because they didn't do damage.
Oh, yes. I remember what he's talking about now. When we were talking about when that was the showcase where we were talking about like world events where you have that incoming group, and it was like how do you judge people based off rewards? And I said have it scale off a threat. Yes. So that yeah, that's okay.
Did I? Why do I feel like I did a whole video on that?
I think you did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did.
Or maybe I just mentioned it during my event video, but I feel like we've talked
I'm
about
almost certain I'm almost certain you talked about it. Like, I'm biased, guys. I still think that that's a good idea. So
yes. Yeah, because healers even generate threat. Exactly. I think threat is just the best route and the simplest route to go. Fourth Rome says a dwarf up a tower will probably not even. Oh, hold on, chat just scrolled. He said a dwarf up on a tower will probably not even be able to use a bow standing in front of a slot. I experienced that as Cabal and Dark Age of Camelot. That's okay. That's actually funny.
Well, hopefully your node incorporates stools for the walls, so you can actually properly fire them. So,
Akira, welcome on in. We're just about to close out. How you doing? But the melee assist train is going to own fights, dude. Yeah, their melee BM. We talked about it one stream. Their melee attacks are going to be like true hitboxes, like New World. So that's going to be phenomenal. That I just can't wait to see that like in more action. And yeah, that's going to be really good for loot. Yeah, definitely. I wonder if a dwarf can hide behind a tower shield, dude. I just can't wait to compare like a short bow. Like a short bow on a human is gonna look like a long bow on a dwarf, I bet.
I'm not gonna lie, I could do an entire hour-long podcast making fun of dwarves. Like
yes.
It would be so much fun.
They get their armor drops in kid size on a loot box. Like if a dwarf makes hold on. Can a dwarf? Oh, bro. If a dwarf goes corrupted, you know how you can take people's gear? You can lose your gear if you're corrupted. If I get the gear off a dwarf, is it just not going to fit? These are questions that need answers. No one's thought about this yet. It just might not fit.
Okay, so what's more economical? Building new armor for dwarves or just recycling soup cans?
All right, you guys, this has been the Voices of Vera. Thank you guys so much for being here. We could not do this without you. Let's see. Do we have anybody that we can raid on Twitch? Let's see. I don't think I have anyone.
I don't care if nobody else laughed at it. I enjoyed it.
I don't think we got anyone to raid into. Once again, thank you to the Golden Feather Tavern for the raid. We really appreciate you guys.
Yes, thanks for having me too. That was awesome.
Oh yes, and if you guys missed it, Else was at the tavern. If you guys want to check out Bree, Vertec, and Else talk some Ashes of Creation, he was there right before he joined our stream. So appreciate you guys being here. I don't think I have anyone live on YouTube either. But yeah, we'll be
Yeah.
live again next Tuesday. Oh, something that we didn't talk about. Well, we talked about it earlier, but it was before you were here. If you got a couple, if you want to quickly throw out 3 options, what do you predict next month's stream would be, considering what we have left to show? Else?
Sorry, can you say that again?
So with considering what we have left to show, quickly throw out 3 things that you think are going to be next month's live stream.
Okay. I kind of think we're going to get the Bard. We've gotten 2 kind of talks about the Bard is progressing. So part of me thinks that it's going to be Bard. I think I will also say within the next 4 or 5 months, I think we're going to get another node showcase because I think there's room for it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think there's plenty of talk about for nodes, and the fighter's got to be due soon. So those would be my top 3: Bard,
Okay.
fighter, node.
I would put fighter way before Bard. I think what was mine's earlier? I think mine was fighter, node stream. Someone said crafting, and that's something I hadn't considered, but yeah, I could definitely see that. I just don't think we're gonna get too many boring filler streams. I still think back to that UI stream. I was like, what was? I think that's the only stream I didn't watch more than once, or like I literally watched it. Matter of fact, I barely remember that stream, but I think I watched it once, and I don't think no one did a video. I think Narc probably did a video on it, of course, but I literally skipped that month. I was just like, okay,
Yeah.
that was complete filler.
Yeah.
It didn't need a whole stream. It needed a segment or to be brought up, but I don't think it needed a whole showcase. But I don't think we're gonna get no filler like that, especially with how things been ramping up lately.
I forget who said in the Discord, but somebody asked like, "Hey, what do you want to see out of the next few live streams?" And one of the points I brought up was the nodes themselves. You could do 2 more live streams on nodes.
Yes.
So
yes.
And so like there's just so much involved in there. Like I want to see nodes transform. Like they could do an entire art showcase of them leveling up from level 1, level 2. It doesn't have to be all of them. You could do another one talking about like the different types of nodes as well.
And their superpowers. They didn't really
exactly.
Yeah.
Like the nodes I think are like I want to see at least 1 more live stream on it because
and I hope we get that soon. I wouldn't mind if that's next month. I think it would be a good idea to do a node showcase and then have the fighter there, even if you don't do the showcase, but just have him equipped and like look like as a little sneak peek how they do sometimes. Before we close out, Gazir says racism is okay as long as it's against Dunn. I see how it is. Good thing we're good-hearted people. Aw, bless his little heart. Aw.
Hey, if you guys see me in the Discord chat, I've been making fun of a certain somebody for being a high elf, and not just any high elf, a Skyrim level high elf. So I'm just saying like it's all in good fun. I don't even know what racial character I'm choosing yet. Do you know, Nice?
I honestly I don't. I like the idea of Talnar, though we haven't seen them, but I like the cool. I like Veilum, Talnar. I think we got to choose the same race to have the same starting area.
Sure.
Well, maybe that's just a divine gate. I wonder, but I'll choose whatever you choose as long as it's not Vec, Renkai.
You don't like Renkai
or Dwarf?
Okay.
I don't dislike Renkai. I don't dislike it, to be honest. You know, I guess I gotta see their player models, but it wouldn't be my first choice.
Sure.
But actually, I wouldn't mind a Renkai. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a Renkai. I just feel like if I'm gonna go with the beast or like non-human thing, I might as well go Talnar.
Sure.
But I could see Renkai. But yeah, Talnar have tails. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Tails? Fuck yeah. Let's go.
Dang, yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I just know I don't want to be Dunir or Dwarf. I just never liked doing them in games. But yeah, it's all in good fun. We're just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know which. I'm not like too set on one. I'm not full RP with the race choice yet at all.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm just waiting to see how they look aesthetically. Probably when we get in. So
yeah,
bunch of.
Variant says we need to do one on the augment system. Yeah, man, we definitely need an augment stream because chat. It's been at this point in the game, you would think we would have seen the augment system I also would have thought they would have had the stamina bar figured out by now.
Yeah.
There's a couple things. The augment system is one that we like. It's been answered, but it's just like, yeah, we haven't seen it and we haven't gotten super clarification on it, to be real.
The augment, what I expect to happen and what I hope to happen are two different things. My top 3 most like systems I want to see, augments is at the top of the list because I want to see how it works, and then I want to see more nodes, and then the next one throw in. I want to see the rogue or the fighter. You can throw that in as 2 or as 3 or 4. Like those are my top 3. I think we're just a little bit too far away from augment systems because like we don't even have all the archetypes. That's
I don't
my
think their
perspective.
skill trees are set.
Yeah,
I think their weapon skill trees are pretty much what they're gonna be, almost in their final form, minus some tweaks. But looking at that ranger skill tree, if that's not even together how it really should be, then I'm not expecting augments. But I'm with you. Augments, secondary class archetypes, which you can kind of tie into augments because that's really why I want to see it, is the secondary class augments. And then number 3 is probably the like node superpowers, the bounty hunter system, something like that.
Oh yeah, bounty hunter system. I've completely forgot. They haven't done that yet.
But all right, you guys. It's been a great one. We'll see you later this week. We're gonna probably jump on some Elden Ring. I'll probably stream Elden Ring Thursday.
Damn.
It's been a good time. The dark magic. Oh, the blood magic. Have a safe and blessed night. You too. And peace.
See you guys.